Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Doug Diamond here. Diamond Report Live. Yes, we are here again. Another week has flown by. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Had a good weekend so far. 10:09 p.m. on August 13th, 2023. So yeah, let's look at the news. Got a few things to look at. I've been running around like crazy this afternoon and today, so I don't feel like I'm quite as prepared as normal, which that just means that I'll be flying by the seat of my pants even more than I usually am on these broadcasts. So just a quick note here. I was going to do a live stream as well on Rumble. I figured out how to do that. I did run a test live stream on there earlier today. It worked great. When I was going live, though, I decided to, because that would mean 4 concurrent streams at one time, I decided not to risk it without really testing it a little bit better, running 4 at once versus running 1 at once. So I know 1 at a time works good, but I hadn't had time to really test it any better than that. But just know we can and will be live streaming on Rumble now. For a while there, it was a paid situation, but now it apparently is not. So that's good news. Good news. So yeah, we'll definitely add that into the mix. Before I was having DLive be a backup as well as Telegram, but now it looks like we can live stream to Rumble too. So I'm going to have to run some tests to see if I can run 4 streams at one time, because as you guys know, we're live streaming to 2 Facebook pages and also to my YouTube channel. So we may, if some weird thing happens where my computer won't quite keep up with it, then I may drop one of the 2 Facebook feeds and just say, if anyone wants to watch from Facebook, you have to do it from such and such page, which will probably be my personal profile, which most people tend to be on there anyways. And just another programming note, if you guys are wanting your chat to show up when you type something, you want it to show up on the screen here on the right side, it will, as long as you're on YouTube or on my Diamond Disc profile on Facebook. If you're on my Diamond Report page and you type something and it doesn't show up, that's because it's a separate type of different connection. And unfortunately, the Rumble one will be the same. So if you guys are on Rumble, there will be a separate Rumble chat that will be ongoing that you guys can use, but it will not show up on my screen, unfortunately. That's just a limitation in my software. It's not me censoring anybody. It's just simply a matter of it won't connect and talk to the chat aspect of those other platforms. So anyways, long story short, we're going to be on Rumble as well, so just stay tuned for that. So let's take a look at the news. We've got some article headlines here, some Hal Turner radio show headlines pulled up, and this one's just from a little while ago. I thought we'd just take a look at the headlines. You guys can look at this website if you want to delve a little deeper into the different articles he's got on here. Russian Navy fires warning shots to force cargo ship bound for Ukraine to stop for inspection. Moscow said Sunday that warning shots were fired from a Russian warship at a cargo vessel heading towards the Ukrainian port of Izmail. So, kind of interesting. China financing U.S. proxy war against ally Russia. United States Senator Rand Paul has blown the whistle. POTUS and both parties are robbing Americans to pay Ukraine with money they borrowed from China. How will Russia feel that the proxy war in Ukraine is being financed by China? That's a good question. Let's see here. 3 out of 5 Patriot missile systems in Ukraine destroyed. Turk intelligence tells Hal that 3 U.S.-made Patriot missile batteries in Ukraine have been destroyed by Russian Dagger hypersonic missiles. Only 2 more such Patriot systems remain in Ukraine. Sounds like they're losing their armaments. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted you guys to see those few headlines, and there's quite a few here on the homepage of HalTurnerRadioShow.com. Again, highly recommend his radio broadcast. I'm a subscriber and recommend that you guys subscribe to him as well. He has a radio show each evening, and I listen to it only as a podcast later on. But he does put out some really good information, and every now and then, of course, he gets it wrong, but typically he is correct, and usually he's so far ahead of the curve. He oftentimes several days, if not weeks ahead of what the mainstream media reports. So it's good from that respect for sure. So anyway, yeah, highly recommended. HalTurnerRadioShow.com. And he's not paying me to say that, by the way. I don't know how. So I like the show. Thought I would recommend it. Technocracy.news. This is Patrick Wood's website. You guys know I like this website too. Anything technocracy is, of course, what we're dealing with and what we will be dealing with in the very near future. So it's important to kind of know what's headed our way. Central bank gold demand soars to new all-time high. The largest gold holdings of the top 6 central banks in the world are, in tons, U.S. has 6,133 tons. Germany, and I'm not sure if that's really true because I've reported on all of the tonnage of gold underneath the Federal Reserve in New York, like 5 floors below the street level. And I don't know. I would guess it's way more than 6,133 tons. But I digress. Germany has 3,352, Italy 2,451, France 2,436, and Russia 2,329, and China 2,113. UK only has 310 tons of gold, but China is expected to keep another 2,000 to 3,000 tons of gold off of its official books, like the U.S. isn't doing that, potentially making it the largest holder in the world. What does this mean? Gold is not dead. Central banks love gold and are positioning for a post-capitalist, post-Great Reset world. All told, central banks hold more than 35,000 tons, or about 1/5 of all the gold ever mined. I have stated many times, this is the author of this story, of this article, I have stated many times that modern globalization is a giant resource grab at the expense of fiat currencies, which are mathematically guaranteed to collapse at some point. Gold is a resource, so is real estate, forests, nature preserves, heritage zones, farmland, etc. That central banks are flexing their muscle with massive gold acquisitions only underscores that they are the white-hot center of globalization. So this is, I guess, Patrick Wood talking, because he's talking about the book that he wrote, Evil Twins of Technocracy and Transhumanism. So anyway, interesting story about gold there. If you're interested, I don't sell gold or anything like that. We don't have any advertising on this show whatsoever, and I want to keep it that way, which is why I depend on you guys to share the show. That's the only way people are going to find out about it, I think, is for people to share it. So thank you guys for giving this a thumbs up, although I would prefer that instead of giving a thumbs up tonight, this particular video will get taken down as soon as it's done, and I go through and tighten it up and then re-upload it to all my other platforms. So if you really want to help me, then tomorrow when I post this, and if you're already on the Substack, you'll get an email that will say that it's up, and it will be on BitChute and Brighteon and ClickView and Rumble, and also back on Facebook. And the reason I do that is because I like to clean things up and tighten things up a little bit, and then obviously you guys know you can't do what I'm doing on YouTube and stay on there for very long. So I remove it as soon as I'm done live streaming on YouTube, and we will post more of a YouTube safe version later that day, maybe tomorrow night or Tuesday. So give it a thumbs up then whenever I repost it more permanently. And if you want to do it tonight, that's totally fine. I guess it probably does help the metrics, but sharing the video that I upload tomorrow actually would be even more help. So thank you guys in advance. The coming death throes of capitalism and free market economics. Technocracy cannot flourish until capitalism and free market economics die a permanent death. Thus, there is an unprecedented moral hazard to give Humpty Dumpty a good push off the wall. The Great Reset, sustainable development, the Green New Deal, etc. are all positioned to destroy our prevailing economic system. And many people think that's going to be happening in the next few months. So we'll see. This article provides some economic markers that show the internal economic rot that is being disguised by propaganda and false news from governments and technocrats alike. So that sounds like a really good article. Again, on technocracy.news. And this is the third one I have pulled up here. Resistance isn't futile. The global rejection of CBDCs. I think this is good news. However, we all know, just reading scripture, we all know that there will be a one world currency, and CBDCs, no matter how they're implemented, I do think will happen, at least for a short time. Anyway, this says, this insightful article only misses the key point that central banks are privately owned and not government institutions. There are only 214 central banks in the world, each serving only one client, that is, the host nation. The CBDC steamroller emanates from the central bank for central banks, the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, in Switzerland. Together, these central banks make up the giant vampire squid that is trying to take over the entire world and everything in it. Sounds like the beast. These are the source of the WEF's Great Reset, aka technocracy, deeply in debt to their central bank. Nations now take marching orders from the central bank creditors lest they be forced into bankruptcy and the seizure of their assets. So again, another really good article that's very comprehensive over here on technocracy.news. All right, so let's talk about Maui, shall we? 36 dead in Maui, 50 plus pulled from the water by Coast Guard. Of course, this is dated 3 days ago now. But you guys have probably been following the story. I know if you're Anthony Patch watchers, he just did a very deep dive on the whole subject of Maui and the fires there tonight. And it was really a dope miss. So if you guys are not Anthony Patch subscribers, I highly recommend you do that. AnthonyPatch.com. You can subscribe there at the link at the top of the homepage of AnthonyPatch.com that takes you to Subscribestar. Subscriptions there start at $10 a month. Highly recommended. He covers some really good information. And, he was a former fire. Well, he's currently on the fire department. I'm not sure exactly what his job is, but he's a current volunteer fireman, and then he was a paramedic for many years in the Bay Area. So he knows what he's talking about, and he did a really good report tonight on the fires and the happenings in Maui. So feel free to check out Anthony's information, AnthonyPatch.com. This particular article is on Revolver.news. It says at least 36 people have been confirmed dead, which now I think officially we're up around 90, I think it was the last number I heard, on the island of Maui after ferocious winds caused by Hurricane Dora, in part, fueled devastating wildfires across Hawaii, forcing thousands of people to evacuate. It's the deadliest wildfire in the U.S. is seen in 5 years, following the 2018 Camp Fire that killed at least 85 people in California. So these numbers, I think, are going to go way higher. And I say that based on, when I finally started looking at this story just a few days ago, because I've been so busy I hadn't had time to really look at it. I remembered that one of the guys that I like to listen to and I follow, you guys know who he is, Edward Dowd. He lives on Maui. And I remembered that, and I thought, man, I was already following him on Twitter, so I need to check out what he's saying. And indeed, he does have some reports on his Twitter account. So I found this one yesterday, dated August 12th, and it says, this is according to Edward Dowd. Remember, he's what I call a numbers guy. He's into the insurance actuaries and reporting the real figures that have to do with insurance reports and stuff like that. I think he knows what he's talking about, and he has a lot of followers on Twitter. If you look at his account here, he's got 239,000 followers, so well over 250,000. I think he is going to be very careful about what he posts. And Anthony mentioned this tonight because I mentioned it to him on his broadcast. Here's what it says. The Lahaina death toll official number is 80 as of this morning. This is yesterday morning. Whisper numbers much higher from first responders, consistently hearing 500 to 1,000. Prayers for the dead and suffering families. Very tragic and sad. Remember, he's right there. Apparently, he was unaffected, but he is there on the island, not that far away. And indeed, if you go to the page here, he shows some other newer information. One of them is a friend of his, I guess, that was organizing the pickup of supplies to be brought in by helicopter and stuff. So he's got quite a bit of information here. If you guys follow Edward Dowd at Dowd Edward on Twitter, so highly recommend you follow him. He definitely, in my opinion, really knows his stuff. So, but he's reporting numbers of 500 to 1,000 potentially, and that's what this article confirms as well to some degree. At least 80 dead, 1,000 still missing. Additional areas evacuated from wildfires in Hawaii. So this is on Gateway Pundit. They reported on the devastating wildfires in Hawaii that have left at least 80 dead and approximately 1,000 people still unaccounted for. A new fire on Friday night led to the evacuation of an area near the town of Kanapali in West Maui. Reports Saturday revealed that the fire has been 100% contained. So there's sporadic other tweets and embedded videos and things like that in this article, and I'm sure you guys have seen on many other articles where people are giving from the ground, on the ground type of reporting, and I think that's all really good. And there's a lot of people that are talking about, hey, these fires are really mysterious. Is it dews? Is it other things going on? And I think that it looks a lot like what happened in California a couple years ago, unfortunately. However, we just don't know. So I'm just sort of figuring that some of that truth will probably come out, but it's not going to come out in the mainstream. It's not going to come out in mainstream media, that's for sure. But anyway, the Gateway Pundit's doing a good job reporting on what's going on there as well. And here is a article on Zero Hedge 2. $13 billion for Ukraine and $12 billion for Hawaii. Isn't that nice? Just on the heels of Hawaii declaring a state of emergency over its deadly hurricane-driven wildfires, which have decimated much of the once paradise island of Maui, Biden is expected to request $13 billion in emergency funding for military support for Ukraine. And emergency funds for Hawaii will be less, as Biden simultaneously approved $12 billion for the federal disaster relief, which of course they're just printing money. Nobody's writing a check. It's just all digits and numbers. He could have made it, $112 billion, and yet he still chose to make it a smaller number than Ukraine. So what does that tell you? Interesting. And maybe he didn't choose anything, but certainly those in charge did. Total new package being requested for congressional approval comes to a whopping $40 billion. On top of the $13 billion in defense for aid for Ukraine, another $8 billion being sought for humanitarian support for the Ukrainians. So even more billions headed to Ukraine, which of course gets money laundered and sent directly back to the Democrat Party. And then that money gets used in Democrat-run elections and stuff, of course. And then a lot of the other money that skimmed off the top goes to Zelensky and his regime to go buy palaces in Switzerland and in Florida and all kinds of fun things like that. Isn't that nice? And then they take the weaponry, the weapons and stuff that's sent over there and sell it on the black market instead of using it on the front, which, of course, you don't want that anyway because it's just going to kill more people. However, it's a total money scam, total money laundering scam. You can see the before and after pictures here on this article, right there, before and after. I've seen a lot of that, actually, as far as before and after photos on different websites, and people showing the bombed out, what looks to be bombed out areas where cars are melted and everything else, just like the California fires a couple years ago. It looks very similar to that and very suspicious, I must say. So we'll take a look at that actually a little bit more. I've got a video or two about. I got one more video here about Hawaii that I thought was pretty good, and it sort of juxtaposes the whole Biden thing, like I just mentioned, as far as Ukraine versus the money going to the people who need it in Hawaii. So we'll look at that in just a few minutes. The media is super excited that Gen Z is the end of America's white majority, but also you're a conspiracy theorist if you note how happy they are. You can practically feel the excitement here from the quivering fingers of the journalist that wrote this. This is on The Hill. It's a tweet. Generation Z will be the last generation of Americans with a white majority, according to census data. The nation's so-called minority arrived with Generation Alpha. Alpha and Alpha Gal. Those born since about 2010. Well, this is awkward. And then here's a tweet here. Proud American, blue check only to support Elon. It says, but that was just a conspiracy theory Tucker was spreading. See, I'm told this isn't happening. White people aren't being replaced. They're simply being phased out with a percentage that isn't white At the same time, all our institutions, companies, and leaders are pushing to eradicate things like whiteness and white rage in the name of equity. For the record, I really couldn't care less about the skin color of who lives in America. I care an infinite amount more about the spiritual worldview and values of my neighbor than whether their physical DNA gave them dark skin, blue eyes, or a big nose. This is why I find it weird that the media keeps reporting with abject glee that people who look like me will be in the minority soon. Yeah, and it's usually always white people who are reporting that. And they think their jobs are permanent. They're going to get phased out too. We're being replaced. It's called replacement migration. It is real. Just go look at the southern border and anywhere in the U.S. pretty much. So, yep, it is real for sure. So that's on notthebee.com is where that is. So before we get too far along here, let's jump over to this video I wanted to show you guys about Hawaii burning and Maui, and it is so devastated. And Biden sends $13 billion to, who was it? Ukraine. Here it is.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth on the Hawaii wildfires. 1,000 people are now reportedly missing in Maui. The number of people killed in the devastating fires on the U.S. island state has risen to 55 people. Guys, this is a satellite imagery of just the total devastation that this town has seen. It's absolutely insane. Footage is coming out now like this, showing the utter destruction, and this is absolutely disgusting. These people drive by a woman who's obviously lying there on the ground. Why they kept going is beyond me. They could have easily just stopped for 1 second, thrown her in the car, and kept going. All sorts of footage like this is emerging of this entire town being completely devastated. This is absolutely shocking. I mean, look at some of these cars. It's reminiscent of, like just war times. Everything is completely destroyed. Everything is completely gone. Again, more and more footage is coming out by the day here, and it's shocking to see, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in this particular video, we're not going to the debate, the various causes that could have been surrounding this. There are a number of things. We can get into that in a whole nother video, but right now, when you have 1,000 people missing, you've got at least 55 already announced as dead, you would think this is going to be a top priority of the Biden administration right now to, save the people of one of their very own states. But it looks like the people of Hawaii are taking a back seat to the people of Ukraine. As we see here, $13 billion for Ukrainians and $12 billion for the devastated people of Hawaii. Just on the heels of the Hawaii declaring a state of emergency over its deadly hurricane-driven wildfires, which have decimated much of the once paradise island of Maui, President Biden is expected to request $13 billion in emergency funding for, drumroll, military support to Ukraine. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And if you think that this money is going towards helping the people of Ukraine, I think you might want to think again. As we see here, Ukrainian kill teams are using U.S. supplied Blackhawks to carry out assassinations inside of Russia. That's right, Ukrainian Special Force kill teams are using U.S. supplied Black Hawk helicopters to carry out cross-border assassinations inside of Russia, according to a new report from the Times. So if you think that your money is going towards the people of Ukraine and you are waving your flag with, by virtue signaling this, you might want to think again on that, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to talk about all of this and much, much more in this video. All right, guys, 1,000 people reportedly missing. This is insane. Catastrophic wildfires in Hawaii have killed at least 55 people, with thousands more missing or evacuated. Whipped up by winds from a distant hurricane, flames have devastated Lahaina on the island of Maui, with 80% of the historic town destroyed, according to Governor Josh Green. He called the fires the largest natural disaster in Hawaii state history, which will take many years and billions of euros to recover from. They're talking in euros because this is a Euro news site. Authorities estimate 1,000 people are still missing, yet this could be due to the fact that communication lines are down. So lines are down, communication is out, 1,000 people reportedly missing, and right when you think this should be, time for some humanitarian aid here, the Biden administration is looking to the war in Ukraine for their humanitarian mission. First and foremost, the people of Hawaii come second. I mean, look at this. They just requested $13 billion for military support to Ukraine. Emergency funds for Hawaii will be less, as they simultaneously approved $12 billion for the disaster relief. In a total new package being requested for congressional approval comes in at a whopping $40 billion. On top of the $13 billion in defense aid for Ukraine, another $8 billion is being sought for humanitarian support for the Ukrainians through the end of the year. As for Hawaii, which saw wildfires wipe entire towns and neighborhoods off the map, leaving 36 Americans dead, now 55, it clearly takes a backseat to the Ukrainians' plight in the thinking of the administration. So they don't care about the people of Hawaii as much as they care about the people of Ukraine. And I will reiterate, it's not so much the people of Ukraine who are being helped. It's the army who is using this intelligence and this money to kill Russians. I mean, the U.S. specifically told Ukraine not to use U.S. supplied equipment to attack inside of Russia at the start of a war, to avoid dragging the U.S. into the war, risking World War III. But now they are just looking the other way, as Ukraine is regularly striking Russian territory, most likely using U.S. supplied intelligence. So again, I will reiterate, if you are flying this flag to signal your virtue and to stand in unity with the people of Ukraine, you might want to think again about what your government is doing with their aid to the Ukrainian people. As we see here, a lot of this is going towards the assassination of Russians and the war effort. And, a lot of people have been misled to and lied to about what this is truly all about. But just wanted to bring this to your attention today, guys. It looks like the Biden administration is more interested with keeping this war going than helping their very own on the island state of Hawaii. I bet you viewers of this channel are not all that surprised, but again, it's just something I wanted to bring to your attention, given just the insane level of devastation that this state has seen, and the Biden administration seems to just be turning a blind eye. Absolute insanity, guys. Just wanted to bring all of that to your attention. Once again, if you do appreciate my efforts to do so, don't forget to check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Again, I want to thank everyone who takes a minute or two today to support my efforts here to bring you this information. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.
All right, good report there from Dan Dix. I thought that was pretty cool. He did a good job of sort of breaking down everything, so not really any point in my reiterating again, but yeah, I mean, you can definitely see there the some of the before and after pictures that I mentioned as far as the damage that happened in Maui. So wow. Anyway, let's keep moving here. We've got several more articles to take a look at tonight. As you can see, I've got tabs all across the top of my screen. We are just getting started here. We'll probably go for a couple hours. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've been pushing it out to close to 3 hours lately, so we'll try and dial it back, but we'll see. I don't know. We've got lots to talk about. We're only doing a broadcast once a week, really, so try and squeeze as much as possible. As I've said before, I think this is the most jam-packed broadcast in alternative media. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys probably see as many videos as I do, but man, we cover a lot of stuff, and you get 0 commercials. So thank you guys for your support. I certainly do appreciate it, and I want to keep it that way as far as no sponsors, no nothing like that. So Anyways, yeah, I'm not interested in selling stuff. I just want to give you guys the latest news because I know I appreciate that. So Zero Hedge has this article, Surprise, the FBI lied about white supremacist memo targeting Catholics. New document reveals. I'm sure you're shocked. Says when the FBI was busted targeting Catholics in a now retracted leaked document, which said Roman Catholics were at risk of committing acts of extremist violence, the agency downplayed it as a work of a rogue field office. Now, thanks to a less redacted internal FBI document released Wednesday by the House Judiciary Committee, we learn that the effort was far more widespread than the agency acknowledged. So this is the tweet that went out, I guess. It says, breaking. Subpoenaed document reveals that the FBI Richmond Field Office coordinated with multiple field offices across the country to produce a memo targeting traditional Catholics as domestic terrorists. Ray previously said the actions were limited to a single field office. Well, we know for a fact that Ray lies and does so under oath, and it's no problem if he does it. And you guys may have known about this as well. Ecuadorian presidential candidate is assassinated. This happened a few days ago now on the 9th. Ecuadorian presidential candidate Fernando Vicencio was shot and killed by an unidentified gunman Wednesday in the country's capital of Quito. The country's current president confirmed. Ecuadorian President Guillermo Lasso confirmed Villavicenio's death in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter. Known for speaking out against corruption, this guy, 59, was the candidate for the Build Ecuador movement and was one of 8 presidential candidates in an election slated for August 20th. So, kind of makes you wonder what they're going to do if something like that happens in this country. I mean, RFK Jr. was out there asking the Biden administration for Secret Service protection, and then like a week later, 10 days later, whatever it was, this happens in Ecuador. Pretty interesting, huh? So, yeah, that's on the Hill. NakedTruth.news is where this is. It says new global internet censorship began today. This was on August 7th, but I just saw it today. It says Google's new global censorship tool was introduced today at 9:10 a.m. via an email press release. According to Latoya Drake, head of Google News Initiative. There she is. Head of global internet censorship. Google calls it fact check tools. Its purpose is to eliminate dissent on any topic that Google selects. Their partners are the UN and the World Homicide Organization. Plus, 71 pages of other partners are listed in the fine print on this website. So here it is. There's a PDF here if you want to check it. If you want to check who the fact checkers are. Google Fact Check Tools. Screenshot here. Google's algorithms are designed to delete websites that criticize topics such as. Now, when they say delete websites, they don't mean literally delete them from the internet. They mean basically banish them from being found in Google search results. That's what it means. Deleted from search results. Although the other thing may be coming as well. This is step 1 for sure. COVID-19 statistics. So the algorithm that Google uses are designed to delete websites that criticize topics such as COVID-19 statistics, the World Bank, the FBI's crime statistics, Farm GKB, and a one world global government. So if you have a website that talks about those things, you get deleted. Isn't that nice? Other topics include global warming statistics provided by the IPCC, the World Homicide Organization's findings on any topic that they select, the United Nations Energy Statistics Database, meaning carbon emissions, the Environmental Protection Agency's greenhouse gas reports, the Anheuser-Busch Baldwinsville Brewery, that gets banned too, and Stanford University's Deep Solar. So anyway, there's more information here, including a video, apparently this woman talking about how wonderful it is. Feel free to look at this if you want to. It's on newsothersmiss.com is where it is. So, yeah. kind of what we already knew, but they're coming right out and saying how wonderful it is that they're going to ban websites from Google search results, which I don't know if you guys use other search engines. There's several out there that are pretty good. Google is the default one that most people use, though, unfortunately, especially people that don't know any different. So, anyways, yeah, let's keep moving here. Report: Biden has handed the Taliban, over $2 billion in 2 years. The terror group is treating aid as a revenue stream, according to Special Inspector General report. Well, what I heard was, let me read this story and then I'll tell you what I heard. A report by the Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction notes that the Biden administration has given $2.35 billion to Afghanistan over the past 2 years, despite the fact that it is now ruled by the Taliban, again, following the disastrous U.S. withdrawal in 2021. So, and it goes on and talks about it beyond this. No, what I was going to say was, and where I heard it was Hal Turner. Hal Turner reported just a couple days ago on his radio show that, in fact, the U.S. confiscated $7 billion from Afghanistan, and what they did was they took it from the Taliban, $7 billion. And so they have now offered some, if not all of that $7 billion back to those that they stole it from, the Taliban. They're going to offer it back to them, the money they stole, in order to get the Taliban to go harass and cause problems in Iran. That's what was just reported a few days ago by Hal Turner. I tend to think that that's probably true. That's definitely something the Biden administration would do. So yeah, they're going to steal $7 billion and then they're going to extort it and basically blackmail them into, okay, you can have your money back or at least some of it if you go cause trouble in Iran. So that is the latest that I've heard. I don't know if that is mentioned here on Summit.News article. I sort of doubt it. But anyway, this sort of covers a little bit of the tip of the iceberg, as it says. Daily Mail: how much of Maui has burned? 6 active fires torched through Maui and Big Island and the Big Island and wipe out the town of Lahaina. So this is dated a couple of days, 2 days ago now. So these numbers that are in here are not going to be accurate. However, it does have some pretty good pictures. The Daily Mail does have really good good photography and videos, and there's some other graphics and stuff on here as well. So you can see the people here, the people that had to jump into the sea, jump into the ocean to avoid being burned alive. And here's the bombed out cars. So yeah, it's looking an awful lot like what happened in Paradise in California. So I don't know. I'm not saying that it was dues, but I'm not saying that it's not dues either. So I think the verdict is still out. I do think that there will be a lot of really good citizen journalists out there who will provide further proof that if that does if that is part of the equation, that we'll probably learn that really, I would say, for real pretty soon if you don't already know. You know what I mean? So that article was on Daily Mail. And this one's on Now the End Begins. It's Biden's endless dumping of illegal immigrants overwhelms Massachusetts. Residents are now being asked to take them into their own homes. A rapidly rising uptick of immigrants has strained state resources and pushed the Massachusetts shelter system to the point that it is reaching capacity. Governor Maura Healey said Tuesday morning as she declared the state of emergency around the crisis situation. Yes, but it's a crisis that was created by the so-called commander-in-chief and all of his overlords and those people in D.C., the swamp, in Mordor. So they're the ones that have caused it. So, but yeah, they're declaring an emergency in Massachusetts now. So it's kind of funny, actually. But yeah, more of the same. National Pulse, WEF CEO says she runs Twitter, not Elon, and introduces censorious labeling of lawful but awful users. So you and I are probably being labeled as that as well. Linda Yaccarino, World Economic Forum former NBC executive hired by Musk. Why would he do that? He's one of them, that's why. As CEO of Twitter, now X, has boasted that she, not Musk, is in charge of the site, with the South African billionaire banished to the tech realm. Yaccarino also boasted that X now has a freedom of speech, not freedom of reach policy. How about that? Which labels users for posting unapproved narratives, then demonizes them and limits their exposure. Mine and Elon's roles are very clear, she said in a CNBC interview, describing Musk's area of responsibility as product design at the head of a team of extraordinary engineers focusing on new technology. Asked about the company's so-called hate speech policies, Yacarino said, "It goes back to my point about our success with freedom of speech, not reach. If it is lawful, but if it's awful, it's extraordinarily difficult for you to see it. And of course, it's awful if you disagree with whatever she and her cronies are saying." So anyway, there you go. Sometimes they do come out and tell the truth. I think that's one of those instances. And like all the articles, I always say this, but it's true. I'll link to this one and everything else that I mentioned tonight in my Substack post tomorrow. So if you're not on that list, please join that. It's free. diamonddisc.substack.com. It's in the upper right corner of your screen. And we'll send it out tomorrow along with all these other articles. So here it is. This is the grudge match, right? Fight of the century. Musk versus Zuckerberg. It's official. Will take place in Italy. Although this says it's official, I'm not so sure that it's actually official. It says Musk, who owns X, confirmed the details that he will be taking on Facebook founder Zuckerberg in an MMA-style fight. Historic and epic fight between billionaires. Musk and Zuck have been finalized and will take place in Italy. 3 things you need to know. Musk versus Zuck showdown will most likely take place in Italy. And you mentioned it on X, and tech billionaires agreed to MMA-style fight in June. So I don't know. Who knows? Cage fight. Pretty funny, actually. I mean, billions would probably watch that. So who knows? They could do it. I think I've got another article pulled up on that in a minute, so we'll wait until we read that before we make a determination here. So this reminds me, I'm going to pause while we're here on this because this reminds me of something that I had mentioned. I don't know how many people actually saw it. Let me make a mental note here of where I'm at on my tabs. Okay, I'm right here. And what I wanted to show you was this. You guys don't know, many of you probably didn't see it just based on the view count here. I've been doing these YouTube shorts, just inviting people to come to the live stream. I've been doing the YouTube shorts, I don't know, like Fridays, and just inviting people to the Sunday night live stream, which you all are a part of. And I had mentioned on here in the comments, let me see if it'll show up here. And Miss Emily was kind enough to respond and take a good guess, but I don't think very many people, again, my stuff on YouTube is heavily suppressed, and I'm losing subscribers. I'm actually down like 5 or 6 subscribers over the course of this last month, according to YouTube. So the channel hasn't grown at all. It's only gone negative. You think that's legit? Maybe people don't like the show. I don't know. That's what they want me to think, which tends to make me believe it's probably the opposite. So anyways, this was the question, and we won't watch the video because it's just me inviting you to the live stream is all it was. But the bonus question says that in the video here, it says that the media is ... You see at the bottom there, where that's the shirt that I'm wearing. The media is. And I invited people to have a guess at what the conclusion of the media is. Finish the thought. What is it? And so you guys put your thoughts in chat. We'll come back to it in just a little bit because I know more people are watching now probably than even saw this little looped YouTube short that I made earlier. So what is it? What's my shirt say? The media is... But I'll give you a hint. It has to do with kind of what we've been talking about the last couple articles or so. So anyway, the media is what? So, okay, so we covered that News Wars article. So this is where we left off. So we'll come back to that in a minute when we kind of are wrapping things up. We'll see who wins the door prize, of which there is no actual door prize, but you get the privilege of being the winner. So that's pretty cool. The Daily Hodl, Hodl, which is a website I've never heard of, but this article sounds kind of interesting. Bank accounts filled with cash are opening without the consent of one of America's largest banks. Dozens of people say unauthorized accounts in their name are being opened at one of America's largest banks, with mysterious deposits showing up in some. One Arkansas man in particular says someone opened an account in his name at Wells Fargo and deposited thousands of dollars, NBC reports. Jay Patterson of Little Rock says an unknown entity opened an account under his name using partially correct information. His name, address, and social security number were accurate, while his date of birth, email, and driver's license details were wrong. Yet, thousands of dollars still flowed into the account before it was shut down. Patterson has never been a Wells Fargo customer and says he'd never given the bank access to his personal data. He also says that Wells Fargo was initially reluctant to address the incident. Wells Fargo would not tell me anything about this account when it was opened, who opened it, what kind of money went through it. They did acknowledge it was a fraud in a letter a few weeks later. Records show Patterson's predicament is not a one-off. Other consumers and public complaints to regulators have detailed similarly mysterious Wells Fargo bank accounts, raising fresh questions, experts say, about compliance and risk management at a bank that has been rocked by scandals in recent years. I wonder if the Chinese are involved. Aren't the Chinese heavily involved in Wells Fargo and in a lot of banking in this country? I don't know. Just a thought. Says Patterson appears to be a victim of a synthetic identity fraud. Yeah, sounds like it. Wells Fargo says it's constantly working to prevent fraud and criminal acts. But anyways, yeah, apparently they're being fined as well. So pretty wild. Who knows if if this is really happening large scale? But I thought the article was kind of interesting, and it kind of reminded me too of the article I covered the other day about Amazon shipping multiple hundreds of boxes to people's homes, and then people wondering what in the world's going on when it was simply a Chinese product dump where it was cheaper to ship stuff out, to clear them out of the warehouse, to ship them out to some random person in the U.S. than it was to ship all that product back to China. This kind of reminded me of that in a way. Pretty wild. Crazy stuff. All right. Alpha News, alphanews.org. I don't know if they talk about Alpha Gal on Alpha News, but I did find this article. EPA's new climate rule would cause rolling blackouts in the Midwest. Rolling blackouts. I used to live in California, and we had, even in the early 90s, we had rolling blackouts every now and then, and it increased more as, after I left and came here where I'm at now. But yeah, rolling blackouts. Midwest. Says proposed EPA regulations for power plant emissions could spur blackouts in the MISO power grid region and cost stakeholders nearly $250 billion in the coming decades. We do not have decades, in my opinion. Daily Caller is where this is, reported from. Proposed EPA rules regulating carbon dioxide emissions for power plants would lead to blackouts in a large slice of the Midwest and impose costs of nearly $250 billion, according to a new analysis by the Center of the American Experiment. The EPA's proposed regulations would require fossil fuel-fired power plants to adopt developing technologies such as carbon capture and sequestration, which that's something that we hear about on geoengineeringwatch.org every now and then, and hydrogen blending, in order to significantly bring down their greenhouse gas emissions over the coming decades, which, of course, little known fact, it's already down. It's already way down, and they want net zero, which is, of course, inachievable. It's not even possible, but that's what they say they want. And the only way you get that is by going back to the 1800s, which that's what they want. So anyways, rolling blackouts in the Midwest, coming soon to a state near you. So anyway, just so you guys know, it's headed our way. So there's quite a bit more information here. This is apparently a Daily Caller type of story. So I think it's accurate. So we'll just have to see what happens. But that's not good news. Not good news at all. Gateway Pundit again. The Biden regime to spend $1.2 billion to vacuum carbon dioxide out of the air. So leading again. Trying to get to net zero is what their goal is, which of course is not possible, like I just said. says on Friday, the Biden regime announced it will spend $1.2 billion in taxpayer money to vacuum the sky of carbon dioxide. You would think they would just want to declare war on trees, because that's basically what they're doing here. Yeah, so they want to vacuum the sky of carbon dioxide. That's not crazy. Not at all. Neither is spraying the sky with nanoparticles and particulates. That's not crazy either. And they would never do such a thing, right? That's a conspiracy theory. And yet it's happening every single day. These two projects are going to build these regional direct air capture hubs. That means they're going to link everything from capture to processing to deep underground storage, all in one seamless process, which of course will not work and will cost billions. Yep. So anyways, more complete craziness with regard to not only the Biden administration, but just the whole climate emergency stuff that they talk about. Vacuuming carbon dioxide out of the air. I do think that there is a climate emergency, but it's not at all what we're being told. I think that Dane Wigington does a really good job of covering what that actual emergency is. I don't think it involves vacuuming carbon dioxide out of the air with a Hoover. But that's what Biden wants to do. Nearly 10,000 people have agreed to legally change their name to Subway to get free sandwiches for life. 10,000 people. Subway. So that's kind of a little bit of a trick right there, because if you change your name to Subway and you get free sandwiches for life, chances are, if they're Subway sandwiches, your life is going to be fairly short. Anyway, that's just my thought. Hello, my name is Subway. Subway is fine, I guess. It gets the job done. Nothing wrong with it. See, I don't really like Subway. I don't know about you guys. You like Subway? I have family members that do, but no, I don't. I don't care for it. It says, but it's for real. It's very far, very, very far from this good. Says Subway. This is an NBC News tweet. Subway announces that nearly 10,000 individuals said they would legally change their name to Subway to receive free sandwiches for life from the quick serve chain, and did so within 96 hours of the original offer being unveiled last month. I wonder if Dylan Mulvaney would change his name to Subway. What do you think? Wait. Says they're only going to allow one winner from these thousands and thousands of people who legally changed their name to a sandwich chain. Oh, I guess they didn't read the fine print. See how that works? Says that just seems needlessly cruel. Changing your name to a sandwich is a huge commitment. It's hardcore. I feel they should have at least selected like 50 winners. Subway can afford to give away subs for life to 50 people, especially if the morons are willing to legally change their name to something as dumb as Subway. Moreover, as NBC points out, the company is also in the process of finding a buyer. What do they care if they give away one sandwich for a life deal or 50 or 5,000? They are selling. They should just go out. They should just go all out and offer a franchise to anyone willing to tattoo Subway on their foreheads. So yeah, and then this other article here that's listed, and this is a video, but I watched it earlier. It was pretty hilarious. And what I'll do is I'm not gonna bother showing this video because it's so ridiculous. But this video is talking about this woman here who is risking her life to go see the new Barbie movie, and it is hilarious. It's really funny, and it's really sad too. This woman hadn't been out of her house in 3 years. Well, here, let me see if I can find it on Not to Be. Watch this woman, a real person, explain her crazy plan to go out in public for the first time in 3 years so she can go see the Barbie movie. I pulled this one up because I have some good friends who are Stephen Greer fans. I'm not really one of them. I don't really fully trust the guy. I don't dislike him. He kind of, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about him. He thinks aliens are from space. He thinks space aliens are our friends. He thinks they are our brothers. So I think that's why I don't really care for him. But anyway, this is on the Daily Star. Secret rogue operation will stage fake alien attack imminently. UFO expert warns. ufologist Dr. Stephen Greer, claims a rogue operation operating without the supervision of the U.S. government has developed technologies to stage a fake alien attack on Earth. Well, what do you guys think? Think that's going to happen? I don't know. I think they're just talking about it. I personally don't really see that happening, but who knows? I mean, we're in for a crazy ride the next few years, I think. I tend to think that if some alien invasion type thing happens, it will probably be real, and it will probably be demonic, and it will probably be fallen angel related when Satan is permanently kicked out of heaven. That's when I think it would happen. I've talked about it before. I haven't really made a video on that per se, but that's what this is. When Satan is thrown down to earth, his army that comes with him may be the alien invasion we keep hearing about. In reality, they are fallen angels and their technology, not space aliens. That's a myth and a lie. That's what I think. Those are my thoughts, and agree or disagree. That's why I added the little alien head here on the timeline. On the timeline where it's talking about Jacob's trouble beginning and the abomination of desolation, and that, based on the timeline that I have been working from for the last few years, would be January of 2025. So will we have a fake alien invasion in 2025? I don't know. But if we do, you heard it here first. No, I don't know. But pretty wild. Pretty wild. It's some crazy stuff for sure. But yeah, I mean, I guess we will see what happens. But like I said, to me, if something like that happens, it will probably be more fallen angel related, and it will probably be even further into the end times than we are now. I don't really look for a government type of thing like that to take place. I could be wrong, but I don't really see it happening. ActivistPost.com, lots of good articles here, and we'll just read some of the headlines like I normally do. Biden administration defends social media censorship operation. Glenn Greenwald says it's not left versus right anymore. It's anti-establishment versus pro-establishment. So, yep, very true. Families are spending over $700 more per month due to inflation. Yeah, I would think that would be a minimum, personally. Sunday screening, riot in the Matrix. So, a video, I guess. Niger may be the next U.S. proxy war. Now, this is something that Hal Turner's talked about quite a bit on his broadcast, talking about Niger and what's happening there. And just in short, a lot of it comes down to they want, there are the powers that be want to run a oil pipeline through Niger. So therefore, guess what? They get the Syria treatment. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's what the whole Niger thing is about. They want to run a pipeline through Niger. Quite a few articles here on activistpost.com. I'll leave it to you if you guys want to check out any of those stories. Let's hop on over here to the articles I have pulled up from Gateway Pundit. Elon Musk challenges Zuckerberg to fight him in Facebook founder's backyard tomorrow. So this is dated August 13th. So I don't think that's going to happen. What do you guys think? Says, update, Musk says, I'm going to bang on his door tomorrow and demand a fight. Why? Not exactly clear on why they want to fight, but I do think it's funny. Ex-owner Musk has challenged Zuckerberg to fight him tomorrow. Musk offered to go to the Meta CEO's home to fight in the yard on Monday. Zuckerberg wrote in his Instagram story that he does not believe Musk is serious about the fight. So who knows? It's you got to wonder. You got to wonder what this is all about and why they're even. Is there really some sort of animosity here? Are they really out on their own, or are they just two billionaires who are both controlled by someone above them who are wasting people's time with this whole thing? I don't know. I mean, it seems to be a lot of hot air at this point. So we'll see. Says, I will be in Palo Alto on Monday, Musk replied. Let's fight in your octagon. So who knows? Maybe they will. I do think it would be pretty funny. Cameras go up to punish drivers in the name of climate change. Then vigilantes strike. So this is in England, I believe. This is in London. Major city has instituted a draconian law to satisfy the climate change religion, backed up by a mass surveillance camera network, resulting in a de facto tax costing residents hundreds. And authorities are shocked that citizens are taking matters into their own hands by vandalizing and disabling the Big Brother cameras that monitor compliance, which of course I do not condone. I would never do that. I have to say that up front. Otherwise people will say, hey, well, you're telling people to go blah, blah, blah. No, I'm just literally reading the article. That's it. Citizens of London are furious over the city's ultra-low emission zone, ULEZ, rules that renders a large section of the city practically inaccessible by car because there are very few vehicles that meet the draconian emission standards that permit them to enter the zone, including, according to The Drive. London city officials have designated a 147 square mile sector as a pollution-free ultra-low emission zone. So no cow farting in that zone either. Supposedly to clean up air quality in the city that was once declared and derided as the Big Smoke due to its air pollution. The idea is to discourage citizens from driving in the zone by charging them fines for driving the wrong kind of auto in the area. Officials hope that citizens will get the message and buy vehicles that have higher emission standards and stop using older vehicles, meaning ones that work. To achieve this, officials have set up a massive network of hundreds of cameras that monitor the streets and take photos of every car on the road. This photo is then compared to vehicle registrations, which tell the computer system, meaning AI, whether the license plate is on a car that meets the standards, which most of them would not, I'm sure. If a car does not meet the standards, the owner is sent a $15.88 fine per day. I don't know if that's US dollars maybe. And if the fines are not paid, they will be charged an additional $288.71 on top of the missed fines. So don't think about not paying your fines. So anyway, there's quite a bit here, but it goes into talking about Sadiq Khan, the crazy London mayor and stuff. So that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing in the UK. My guess is it's going to be trying to coming here to the US very soon. We'll see. Joe Biden takes a leisurely bike ride as Maui burns. But he's not taking fiddle lessons. That would have been a little more appropriate. But here's Joe. At the same time, here's Maui. Here's Joe. Maui. Joe. Maui. Enough said, right? Biden couldn't be bothered. Yep. Wonderful, huh? Video up to $100,000 in merchandise stolen from L.A. Nordstrom, ransacked by dozens of looters who attacked security guards with bear spray. So the criminals are coming up with new ways to break into, like mobs, I guess, break into stores and steal stuff, loot, to pillage and loot. A Nordstrom store at the Topanga Mall in Los Angeles, which I have been there before, many, many years ago, was ransacked by a flash mob of looters Saturday afternoon who targeted an high-end attire. Security guards were reportedly attacked with bear spray by the looters. Wonder where you get bear spray in Los Angeles. Called the robbery absolutely unacceptable, the mayor says here. Los Angeles police reported the robbers stole an estimated $60,000 to $100,000 worth of merchandise in the smash and grab. So here it is. I'll go ahead and mute it, but somebody was videoing this the whole time it was happening. So there it is. Another video. Oh, it was a video by a customer, I guess. So this is the smash and grab. I don't know where the guards are who got bear sprayed. But they're just having their way with it. Just literally gangs of people breaking in and stealing everything. Topanga Mall. So yeah, in Los Angeles. So just like New York, welcome to Los Angeles in this case, huh? Man. Report Biden wants to build housing for illegal immigrants at the border. Of course he does. Joe Biden recently asked Congress for $40 billion in the form of an emergency funding package, but not for Hawaii. Part of this funding would apparently go towards building housing for illegal immigrants at the border so that they have a place to live while they're being processed. Yes, we have to have that. We have thousands of homeless veterans in this country, and Biden wants to use tax dollars to build housing for people entering the country illegally. Yes, well, they are the replacement migration. They're here so that we can leave. Or so that we can die. So, of course, they are the replacement migration. We are being phased out. So speaking of New York, I saw this one as well earlier today. Corpse of a man lays unnoticed on the streets of New York for over 24 hours. Meanwhile, in the Democrat hellhole of New York City, a corpse of an elderly man laid unnoticed for more than 24 hours last weekend. According to New York Post, body of Patrick Mullins, 72, was discovered by a dog walker who dialed 911 last Sunday evening. Authorities believe Mullins may have jumped from the 5th story of the 6-story building. Medical examiner determined that Mullins had committed suicide and died from multiple blunt force injuries, and yet his body was left on the sidewalk for more than 24 hours. Wow. Yeah, welcome to New York. Just goes on and on, doesn't it? I saw this one and thought it was kind of an interesting headline. Usually on these articles, by the way, I don't generally read through them. I just think if a article sounds interesting, I open it up and then we go through it live. We talk about it live. So that's why if sometimes it seems like, gee, Doug's barely even read this article, he's kind of struggling through it, it would be because I haven't read the article and I'm struggling through it, and it's the first time I've ever read it. So that always happens. So pretty much. Sometimes I look through them just briefly, just to kind of look for one thing in particular. But in the case of like this one, I saw the article headline and thought, hey, this could be cool. Let's see what it says. Music and AI, lovely duet or downright dissonant? The sudden awareness of the scary implications of AI in the various fields of application is sending its ripples throughout society, leaving us with a host of new questions for which we have no pre-prepared answers. To begin with, there are the fundamental question of whether or not AI will kill us all. That's kind of important. A couple of years ago, that would have been a laughable notion, but now we are painfully aware that it's real. In the realm of the arts, there are also fundamental questions applied to these new technological capabilities. In fact, the Hollywood strike is partially about making sure AI will not disrupt the industry and create mass unemployment. Now the music business is starting to react to this new day, although it's all in the early stages as of now. I would say that it's only in the early stages because people like the Gateway Pundit are reporting on it. I've known about it for some time, and some of the pro audio and other music subscriptions that I have been talking about AI and what is coming and what are the ramifications of it. For quite some time, several years. So it's not really that new, I don't think, from the people who are actually involved in the music business. So it says, The Guardian reported, Google and Universal Music are negotiating a deal on how to license the voices and melodies of artists for AI-generated songs. The talks are expected to include the potential development of a tool for fans where individuals could make AI-generated songs, but the relevant copyright owners would be paid. So that's good. At least that part of it. The artists would have a choice to opt in to the process. So you opt in if you want to get paid. If you don't opt in, that means your stuff's still going to get used and you won't get paid. So there's your choices. This comes after a popular recent trend of fan-generated music using deepfake apps to imitate artists' voices and cadence to create new tracks. Speaking as a musician, the absolute majority of these fan tracks that I've found so far online are very bad. And the artist voice mimicked is poorly modeled. But I also found this version of Frank Sinatra singing Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody that I found interesting. And I don't actually want to play this because if I do, that could trigger the live stream to stop. So I'm not going to play it, but you guys can go listen to Mr. Frank here, listen to him singing Bohemian Rhapsody if you want to. But I'll keep reading here. The negotiations between Google and Universal have come as the music industry has been grappling with AI with the development of new technologies mimicking artists' voices as seen as a growing threat. Record labels have voiced concern around intellectual property and the protections of rights holders. The idea is to build a tool allowing fans and creators to create and make tracks using recognizable voices and melodies legitimately by paying the copyright owners, with artists able to opt out. Of course, the AI implications go beyond the legal worries about copyright. There are also aesthetic considerations. It comes as the music has become bastardized at a high level between the multiple samplers, sequencers, and synthesizers, and the ton of autotuner melodyne added to the vocals. Sometimes there's not much humanity in music anymore. Well, that is true. Very true. But there is though, if you have artists who are actually gifted with some sort of talent. If you have artists who are simply pushing the buttons on a computer, yeah, it's a different situation. So this is the music video for She Blinded Me with Science. So there will always be great musicians that can appropriate any technology to make a sound. So anyways, kind of a long article. I guess I read through the whole thing, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And yeah, if you guys want to hear the Sinatra knockoff, feel free to pull up the Gateway Pundit article, which is dated a couple days ago, well, on the 12th. So yeah, pretty wild. We'll see where it goes. Historic Catholic Church in Lahaina, miraculously untouched by Maui wildfires. So that's pretty interesting and neat. Gateway Pundit reported on the devastating wildfires in Hawaii that left at least 80 dead, with approximately 1,000 people still unaccounted for. Maria Lanakila Catholic Church, which opened in 1846, was miraculously untouched amidst the devastation surrounding it after wildfires ravaged the area. Wow. Video of the still standing church was captured and posted to TikTok. When the camera pans around the rest of the town, the largest tourist destination on Maui, it looks like a smoldering hellscape of rubble. Viewers hailed the jaw-dropping miracle as an act of God. It's definitely a sign of God. Definitely a sign from God, one TikTok user wrote. So here it is.
All right, Jake, thank you for that.
Let me mute that just so we don't have to hear what he's saying. Let's see. Here it is. So here they're talking about the church, and you can see how everything else around it has been burned to the ground. And yet the church is right there. Wow. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. So yeah, God spared the church. Pretty wild. So yeah, not much positive to come out of that whole situation. Beautiful. Community rallies for Vietnam veterans' funeral. No veteran should ever be left alone. I thought this was pretty neat. A Vietnam veteran, Anthony Mises, who served our country in the Navy, died at age 80 in a nursing home. Mises never married or had children and had only one surviving next of kin. As the funeral home prepared his funeral, they realized he would be buried alone without anyone to honor his service for our nation. According to Fox News, the director, I guess, of the funeral home, reached out to the Massachusetts Department of the American Legion's writers on Facebook, letting them know that Mises would be buried alone. Says Vice Commander Andrew Pajak received the message and rallied the community, telling Fox News, no veteran should ever be left to go alone. So here's the motorcycles. Pajak told Fox News that he took the message to Facebook expecting typical engagement. Over 16,000 likes and 2,100 shares later, and 300 motorcycle riders emerged to escort Mises to his final resting place. 300 motorcycle riders. The state police and the local police shut down the rotary to allow the procession to come across. It literally took 4 minutes for all the vehicles to come across. He says he was shaking. He was still shaking with emotion at the turnout. I've never met the man. I don't know the man, but he's my brother. I could care less. I could not care less. When he served, I served in the Gulf. He served in Vietnam. He's still my family. Mises' funeral escort lined the streets to the Massachusetts National Cemetery in Bourne on Friday morning. So there are people honoring him right there. I thought that was a pretty neat story. Not something you hear very often, but you do on this show because I look out for good news. We talk about good news here. we like to point things out like that when we come across them. So we, meaning me, because no one else is doing the work. It's just me. So I thought that was a cool story. And guess what? It happened in Massachusetts. I didn't think anything good happened there, but I guess so. All right, let's look at a few more. Not the bees. You guys remember this? Remember her, the crazy lady on the plane, the viral airplane lady. Issues a public apology for her behavior. So this is her. She's come out now. Tiffany Gomez, I guess. About a week ago, the woman behind the viral airplane freakout video was tracked down and revealed to be a 38-year-old marketing exec from Texas named Tiffany Gomez, or Gomez. I don't know. I'm not sure how you say it. According to reports, a stressed-out Gomez thought that someone had stolen her AirPod headphones and went totally ballistic, resulting in the viral video you've all seen by now. So yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen that. I think I played that actually when that happened, weeks and weeks ago at this point. Says on Sunday, Ms. Gomez released this apology, hoping for it to be the final word on the controversy. And so then there's a video here. I'm not gonna bother playing it, but you guys can go play it if you want to. She says, first and foremost, I want to take full accountability for my actions. They were completely unacceptable. Distressed or not, I should have been in control of my emotions, and that was not the case. I would just interject that the guy that she was talking to, she was accusing of not being human, has done his own videos, and he said she was drinking. So who knows? I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what he said. Says, this is her talking again, my use of profanity was completely unnecessary, and I want to apologize to everyone on that plane, especially those that had children on board. I can't imagine going through that and having to explain to your kid what in the world just happened. We all have our bad moments, some far worse than others, and mine happened to be caught on camera for the whole world to see multiple times. So she's right about that. Many people who love the meme and have tremendous sympathy for this woman think that the apology is completely unnecessary. I just want to be one of the people who defend this apology. She apologized for losing control. She apologized for her foul language, and she showed contrition. Here's more of the apology. I think it's really important. She said, while it has been really comical for everyone, I have highly enjoyed so many of the memes. On the flip side, it is very invasive and unkind. And I don't know what I would do without the love and support of friends and family. They are loyal to a fault, and I don't know what I did to deserve them. So there you go. The fact that it took weeks for journalists to track her down attests to her family's devotion to her. It's not a small thing. So yeah, nowhere does she play the victim. She doesn't say that it's not her fault. She doesn't blame anyone else but herself. So good for her. Miss Tiffany is her name, Tiffany Gomez. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm sure she'll now be offered multi-million-dollar acting roles in Hollywood, and her book will be out next year. So you just watch. We'll see. Just a guess, but that's how it usually works. And speaking of that, speaking of crazy people, here's another one. Except this one's legitimately crazy. Mostly peaceful climate activist, mostly peaceful, you heard that before, who wanted to be a human rights lawyer was jailed for life after stabbing her fiancé to death. That is not good. An Extinction Rebellion activist in the UK has been jailed for life after stabbing her fiancé to death in the middle of the street. Blaze Lily Wallace, 28, was pregnant at the time. Wow. And had been dreaming of becoming a human rights lawyer. Wallace shanked her fiancé, Samuel Mayo, 34, and then followed him out of their home near London with a kitchen knife, leaving him to bleed to death on the street. Witnesses said Mayo was heard begging for his life, saying, "Please, Blaze, I love you, please, Blaze." Wallace was unanimously convicted of murder and possessing an offensive weapon, meaning the knife, I guess. It's the knife's fault. Following a 3-week trial, she will serve at least 24 years, but the judge warned that she may never be released. So there he is. Man. So she sounds like a perfect human rights attorney for the UN or the World Economic Forum, the WEFers, as Peggy Hall calls them. So, yeah, I mean, why not? She could just practice her attorney gig from jail, I guess, from prison. Anyway, I'm surprised that they bothered imprisoning anybody in the UK, but I guess they did in her case. So, speaking of crazy women, the new Snow White actress says the original story is problematic because the prince is a literal stalker, and the new movie will be different. Literal stalker. Ah, yeah, Snow White, the story of eternal love and braver. Oh, wait, it's 2023. Forgot for a second. Here's the new not-so Snow White star of the new Snow White, set to drop next year, speaking about why the original classic is very problematic. It just gets worse and worse. The new Snow White says that the prince was a creepy stalker and suggests that all scenes of the prince could be cut. She's hoping. She's a walking PR disaster for Disney. So, being how it's just a few seconds, I'm going to go ahead and subject you guys to it. So, my apologies in advance. Here it is.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
It's Hollywood, baby. Yep, that kind of sums it up right there. Anything could happen. So yeah, she's hoping that the prince's scenes will get cut. So she's now vying for a job as editor or director. Man, there she is. I don't know why you would ever subject your kids to go and see that, but I guess some parents probably will. Snow White. Anything but, right? Okay, Sam Bankman-Fried is heading to jail. I don't know about that. Heading to jail after a judge accuses him of witness tampering in his massive fraud case and revoked his bail. But I'm sure Joe Biden will bail him out as soon as possible. Everyone's least favorite dweeb crypto criminal mastermind is being pulled from house arrest and is headed to lockup. Here's what it says. Sam Bankman-Fried, founder of FTX, Collapse cryptocurrency exchange, was sent to jail on Friday after a federal judge in New York revoked his bail, accusing him of trying to influence witnesses who are poised to testify against him at a widely anticipated trial in less than 2 months. And that's in New York. So obviously this judge did not get the memo saying that this guy is the number 2 Democrat donor in the world. You let him go. And obviously this judge is probably going to lose their job. Says a hearing on Friday, Judge Lewis Kaplan, Federal District Court in Manhattan, said the arrangement would have to end after prosecutors argued that Bankman-Fried had twice tried to interfere with witnesses in the case, including by giving documents to reporters. He has gone up to the line over and over again, and I am going to revoke bail, Judge Kaplan said from the bench. I don't know. What do you think? You think he actually will do any time? I sort of don't think he will, but they protect their own. Democrats do. So I don't know. We will see. InformationLiberation.com. Just look at the headlines on this one because we have, it's getting kind of late. So we have a little bit more to check out yet, but we're nearing the end. So let's look at the headlines and we'll see what it says. So this first one, I'm going to let you guys read it because it makes my skin crawl to even say it. And if I say the words, then somebody could take it out of context and use it against me. So I'm not going to say these words, but you can tell what Obama says, details of a private letter to his ex-girlfriend. Salacious details of former President Barack Obama, who is Big Mike's wife. I think Barack's probably the wife to Big Mike. Letter to his ex-girlfriend detailing how he fantasizes about having you-know-what with other men daily. So anyway, not a shocker, but I thought you should know. Nothing really changed. Hunter Biden lawyer says special counsel appointment means little. Ukrainian kill teams using U.S. supplied Blackhawks to carry out assassinations inside Russia. I thought that they were told not to do that. Don't you think they follow the rules? Anyway, there's much more to be had over here on informationliberation.com. Video, Biden's handlers allow him to walk along the edge of the Grand Canyon cliff. Don't jump, he says. That's the thing that he's always out there saying whenever people are up high on something and he's talking to them. He always says, don't jump. Why would you say that? I guess they're telling him not to jump. I don't know. Joe Biden spent Tuesday bumbling around the Grand Canyon. His handlers are now letting Biden, who stumbles on steps and falls over sandbags, walk on the edge of a huge precipice. Don't fall in, Joe. Yeah. So, says, I wonder what MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski thinks of this. His handlers are allowing him to make a fool of himself. Well, that's pretty easy to do. Biden couldn't miss the opportunity to yell one of these at the media. So, yeah, he literally says, don't jump. So here he is.
Don't jump!
Promises.
Stop. Is that him? Yes. He said don't jump.
Yeah, he said don't jump. So, yeah, we heard him. So that's just what he does. But with him as president, why wouldn't you? I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was kind of odd. So that's on summit.news. And here's the space lasers. Chinese space lasers, ? Evidence mounts from Maui fires caused by dews. Talked about on Sunday Night Live, which is on earlier tonight on InfoWars. So this is covering how Harrison Smith's talking about the evidence is emerging, suggesting that the massive wildfires that devastated Maui may not have been intentional, but even the result of may not have only been intentional, but may have been the result of direct energy weapons. Dews. Do you think it's dews? I don't know. It might be. Anyway, InfoWars, I guess, was covering it. Conspiracy theories swirl over devastating Maui fires as the media blames climate change. Some speculate directed energy weapons or arson could be the cause to globalize historic oceanfront property that historically belonged to Hawaiian natives or stoke climate change alarmism. Mainstream media insists fires caused by climate change, not dews. I wouldn't think they would even say the word directed energy weapons. Why would they? Because it's a conspiracy theory. It doesn't exist. You're crazy. Right? Social media is abuzz with conspiracy theories and questions surrounding Maui wildfires that have killed at least 67 people. Obviously, we're at like 90 and counting now. 96, I think Kelly said in the chat there, was their official number. So yeah, what's really going on Maui? I don't think we know. But hopefully we will find out more information soon. A lot of good people out there investigating. But it's going to take some time. So patience would be good. I do think it's fairly obvious that they had hurricane force winds blowing embers around. I do think that, that's definitely part of the equation in the fact that there was a high pressure heat dome very near that area that sort of forced the hurricane winds into that area, into an area that had already been dried out on purpose, probably for some time. So they had already set the stage for it, and then they set it up to where the hurricane forces were there, and then all you got to do is light the match in the right place, right? And then boom, you have a massive fire. So who knows if it was done on purpose that way, or if it truly was an organic type thing that happened accidentally, quote unquote, that happened on its own, or more than likely was, pressured into a situation where it took off on its own after a little bit of prodding, maybe from some dews, from some directed energy weapons, perhaps lighting the fire. We don't know. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully people will continue to report on what's going on there. Are you ready for collapse of the medical system? This is on Vaccine Impact. And again, globalists launch climate terrorist attack against citizens in Maui, destroying lives and property. So this is an article that I would probably read through if you guys want more information on that, on Hawaii and what's going on there. The guy that writes here for Vaccine Impact and for Health Impact News, and and some of their other websites is really good. He does a good job. Brian Shilhavy is the guy's name. Let me see if he wrote this article. Yeah, Brian Shilhavy, editor for Health Impact News, and also for Vaccine Impact. Globalists launch climate terrorist attack on Maui. So what I don't know if he is talking about dues. He may not be, but you're welcome to take a look at that. Obviously, they probably do want to convert it into a 15-minute city when they're all done. So we'll see what happens. 12 states now using mobile digital driver's license IDs based on face scans. So there we go. It's coming our way, right? The World ID. They're gonna scan our irises. Oh, this is talking about facial scans, so it's almost the same. Christian leaders are teaching doctrines of demons in their synagogues of Satan called churches. Yeah. So another article on vaccine impact. And I think I covered these last week or mentioned them. Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings were needless, said World War II's top U.S. military leaders. And then, yeah, these other articles I mentioned last week. So feel free to look at these if you guys want to. VaccineImpact.com. And the theory of Yahweh embedded in DNA has been debunked, according to this article. Israel365news.com is where it is. Not so sure I believe this, but here's what it says. It says a recent article on the Christian God TV website presented the often repeated theory that God's name appears in DNA sequencing. The article cites author Steve Russell, who states in an Instagram video, quote, "You know how an artist will sign their work in the future it's easy to see what the source of the work was," end quote. So, this is another quote. So in the human cells, in every human cell, there's DNA. It's a code that's written in acid. ATCG is the name of the acid. And these acids are held together by these sulfuric bridges like a chain. And these bridges appear in a sequence, and that's every 10, every 5, every 6, and again every 5. End quote. ATCG refers to the 4 nucleotides found in DNA. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. Russell explained that the rate of connection of DNA is 10-5-6-5. He then notes that in gematria, which is Hebrew numerology, these numbers correspond to the letters Yud, He, Vav, and He, which is the English transliteration of the ineffable name of God as it appears in the Torah. And then it says, Russell erroneously states that the name of God is pronounced Yahweh. So that's where he got it wrong, apparently. We'll see. The theory of Yahweh being expressed in DNA sequence was first proposed by, and then this Dr. Rubenstein, an Israeli scientist originally from Argentina when he was a scientist at Weizmann Institute. He appeared in a video in which he makes these claims. Skeptics have pointed out that it wasn't possible to view DNA with a conventional microscope, so that's a little known fact, right? Everybody assumes that it is. That's actually true. It's not possible. Was it imaged with an electron microscope for the first time in 2012? I'm not so sure, but maybe. Rubenstein claimed that the DNA helix 26 years before DNA image was achieved through the electron microscope. More significantly, there is no sulfur bridge between DNA helixes, meaning there can be no sequence of 10, 5, 6, and 5. So anyway, they're going on here to say that no, God did not sign his creation in the DNA. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not sure I buy that. I tend to want to believe that he did. But I don't know. Feel free to look at that article if you want to. It's on Israel 365 News. That's where that is. Geoengineeringwatch.org. This weekend's broadcast was all about the fire apocalypse, tropical fire apocalypse. Maui, flash drought, and anomalous 85-mile-an-hour winds perfectly timed to create an unprecedented inferno. Maui experienced a 2-category increase in drought severity in just 3 weeks, from May to June, with that rapid intensification fitting the definition of a flash drought, ABC News. Even in the past week, there's been a quick acceleration of that drought. So that's interesting, huh? said University of Virginia hydrologist, this person, Lankshmi, from ABC News, flash droughts occur when the rain stops and it gets so hot that the atmosphere literally sucks moisture out of the ground and plants, making them more likely to catch fire. So that's pretty interesting, huh? Major differences in air pressure drove unusually long trade winds that fanned the destructive flames, according to meteorologists. Again, ABC News. An anomalously powerful clockwise rotating high-pressure zone north of Hawaii, combined with an anomalously resilient counterclockwise rotating Hurricane Dora south of Hawaii to create a surface-level wind tunnel effect over Maui. Was the convergence of all these conditions just a coincidence? Just random acts of nature? Or is there much more to the story that we are not being told? What puzzle piece is being systematically omitted from climate collapse catastrophe reporting of events that are unfolding all over the world? So that is something that Mr. Dane talks about here in the latest installment. Global Alert News. So definitely check that out. It's a don't miss. It's a really good one. But they're all really good ones. So yeah, that's this weekend's broadcast, Fire Apocalypse. So don't miss. And then Lost Search Radio, we did not do a new show this week. Richard was not feeling quite up to it. Hopefully we'll be back to it again soon. We've got some really good guests coming up. Some folks that want to come back on the show, and then some new ones as well. So we'll see how he feels. If we can do another show soon, I'm sure we will. All right. So let's see here. Where are we at? We're on the Substack. This is the Substack page you get when you go to diamonddisc.substack.com. If you're not already signed up, if you are signed up, then you'll just get the full page, which I'll click on that here in a sec. But yeah, you just drop your email address in, hit subscribe. You can click free. There's an option to support me financially if you want to. Totally your call and no pressure on my end. If you want to, that's fine. Very, very, very well appreciated. So, thank you in advance to those who are doing that. And there are some, so thank you guys. And if you go here and you don't want to put in your email address because you're afraid you're going to get spammed, well, you won't get spammed from me, but I understand it, not putting your email address in stuff. I try to avoid that when possible, but of course, sometimes it's necessary. And so if you want to stay in touch with me, it is necessary to at least give me your email address. That's the only thing I'm asking for here, and I won't abuse it. I simply will send out further Substack posts. I never ask you for money or anything like that. So if you want to be on the list, you're welcome to join it for free by typing your email in there, hitting the subscribe button. Or if you just want the information, you just want the links that I post, what you do is on this page, diamonddisc.substack.com, you click no thanks, and you go to this page, and this is what it looks like. So you just, let me zoom out here. You can scroll down this page and you'll see all kinds of interesting links. These are the different posts that I've done over the last few months, and it goes back quite a ways actually at this point. And in the center here, you'll see the Diamond Report links, and right there is where you can get to all of my other social media posts. There are tons and tons of links here, from Getter to Twitter to Facebook to CloudHub to Coldcast to Brighteon and ClickView and what else? Minds, Brighteon Social, MeWe, bunch of them. Telegram. So yeah, there's a lot of links here on this page. That's how you find me on these other platforms. And Rumble is kind of the one that I'm going to be focusing on, especially if I lose my YouTube channel, which is very possible, like I mentioned earlier. So on that note, let's talk about, let's see here. Let's talk about this. I've had a few people who are really interested in what my shirt says, and I just thought it was kind of a fun thing to do. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Let me see if anybody has guessed it right. I would think somebody has, but I'll have the big reveal here in just a second. I've got the shirt right here, so we'll talk about it here in just a sec. I want to see if anybody got it right though. I would bet someone did. Let me see. So yeah, it says the media is. So let me just kind of scan through the chat here, and we'll look and see if anyone got it right. There's a lot of chatting here, so it's going to take me just a second. In the music business, they do what's called vamping, and that's just simply filling up blank space. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm filling up blank space by talking. I'm basically saying stuff that's meaningless at this point because I'm just filling up space. So I'm looking to see if anybody got it right. Again, my shirt says the media is, and then on the post here on the screen it says ... And then Emily was the closest. She had several really good guesses. I'm looking to see if anybody tried to figure it out. Again, vamping. Yes, I'm dying to know, Doug, Emily says. Okay, good. Well, you don't have to die much longer. No, don't die at all. No one's guessing. Oh, here it is. Oh, Kathy. There's one guess, and Kathy got it right. Kathy, the media is the virus. Yep. That's it. The media is the virus. You don't have to wonder anymore, Emily. Thank you for guessing. She had a bunch of really good guesses. She's dying to know, she said. But, yeah, I've had this shirt for a while, but I like it. It says the media is the virus, and on the back it's got the, I'll just show you. The back says this. InfoWars is the cure, it says. So, yeah, this is an InfoWars shirt. Had it for some time. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, thanks for guessing, but Kathy was the one that got it. She says she has the InfoWars sticker that says that. Yep, that's right. Media is the virus. But I made the video earlier, I guess it was Friday, and I saw it's funny that that's the way the camera kind of cut it off. So I'm like, oh, I bet people will wonder what it says. So that's why I tried to make it a little fun thing here. So, okay, we're done vamping, and let's look at some of the questions and stuff. Let me get rid of my picture. Enough of that. Yeah, so let's look at this page instead. It's a little more attractive. Here we go. All right. So we have several folks here that are normally here. So we have Lauriana, and we have Miss Emily, of course, and William. Hello, and Verba Homefront. Good evening. And Sam is here. Hello. And Sam says he's sitting here with his Doug mug. I like that. Oh man, I should have used that as the name of it. Sam, that's a great idea. The Doug mug. Filled up to the brim with coffee. Great mugs. I recommend getting one. Verba Homefront says, we ordered one and we're waiting on it in the mail. Yeah. Well, good. Thank you for ordering one. Yes, I did see that, and certainly appreciated. And I have a mug as well. I don't have it over here with me, but it is really good quality. I was pleasantly surprised at how well they're made. So thank you for that. And I can honestly say that I too enjoyed the fact that the quality is really good. I don't like selling something to people and have them pay their hard-earned money for it and then have it be a piece of junk. But in this case, it's actually really good. So thank you, Sam, and thank you, Verba Homefront, for ordering one. And yeah, that's something you can buy on the store. So let's look at the store. I'll pull the store page up, which you guys have seen, I'm sure, many of you. And here's the mug that we're talking about here. Well, this is the End Times Dates one. Let's see here. I guess it's this one. The Diamond Report mug is what some of you guys have bought. And then there's also a Diamond Disc Audio one. That's my music company. And that's actually the one that I bought. And that might be the one that Verba Homefront got too, I think, if I remember right. 15-ounce mug. There's also an 11-ounce version. But that's my music company. That's what Diamond Disc Audio is, if you didn't know what that was all about. But this show is the Diamond Report, and I've got several other Diamond Report type items on here. You guys can take a look at it if you want to. Feel free to peruse the store. The new conspiracy analyst hats and shirt right here, and sweatshirts and t-shirts and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's what all that stuff is. It's called shop.thediamond.report. It's in the upper right corner if you're interested. Feel free to take a look at the products there, and yeah, anybody that purchases anything, you'll have my undying friendship. Well, anyway, thank you very much for doing that. I certainly do appreciate it very much, because I know especially with inflation as it is, gas being as expensive as it is, and groceries being as expensive as they are, and you're buying a mug or a hat or a shirt or something. I do not take that for granted. So thank you guys. I sure do appreciate it. So yeah, let's see here. What else is anybody saying? So the Doug mug, I like that. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Betty says, oh my, so many small towns where I grew up had an Oddfellows hall. Makes me wonder if the Farmers Grange organization fit in here somewhere too. Yeah, we mentioned Greg Reese mentioned that in the first video we watched tonight. The Oddfellows. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one. Good question. So yeah, Susan says hello, and she says, thanks for reminding me about the mugs. Sometimes I get so busy and space things out. Wonder if wanted to get one for my sister's upcoming birthday. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Yeah. Hope she's not seeing this. That's funny. Yeah, thank you in advance for that. And then Tetra is here. Caught alive at last. Yeah, thanks for being here, Tetra. Thanks, Doug, for your weekly presentations. You're welcome. Susan says, it's so obvious what's going down in Maui. We've seen it before, no doubt. We will continue to see it more and more. I know, burning people out so that they will force the Agenda 2030 on them. I know. That's what it seems like. And Miss Kelly says hello, and then some back and forth. Kathy says, first heard that Ed Dowd is okay. Glad to hear it. First that she's heard of that on this show. So yeah, that was one of the, I don't know anybody in Maui, but I do remember him saying that he lived there. So that's why, yeah, I immediately went to his Twitter to see what he was saying. And one of his first tweets was, yeah, I'm okay, kind of thing. So yeah, apparently he didn't even lose any property, that's great news. Because he's one of those guys that, man, he's putting out a lot of really important information. He could be targeted too, unfortunately, just like Karen Kingston and others are. So yeah, I was a little concerned, but I'm glad he's okay. I like Ed. He's doing some really good work for sure. Let's see. Heard Patrick Woods had a stroke, Tetra says. Oh, I had not heard that. I don't know. I hope not. Patrick has been, I wouldn't say a frequent guest, but a multi-time guest on Lost Search Radio. So I've talked to him a couple times. Super nice guy. I hope that's not true. I don't know if he's had a stroke or not. Yeah, I really hope not. But hopefully we'll find out more. That's if you find out anything, let me know. And you can contact me through, you can leave a comment on any of the videos that I put up pretty much, or through Substack if you're on there. Do you see what's happening? Susan says. I know. DEW. Do you see what's happening? I know. That was one of my initial thoughts. Was that it looked an awful lot like Paradise. That's what happened there a couple years ago. I think the Chinese were like, so when there's a hurricane anywhere remotely around Hawaii, zap them. Remember when the Chinese were doing those green lines in the air over Hawaii? Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good point. Yeah, they sure were. So, Kelly, yeah, you might have stumbled onto something. So the Chinese are trying to, and then they had all the, I don't know, it was North Korea or what? Somebody was test firing missiles, and then they had all of the nuclear warnings. They had those warnings worked. Remember? And they said, oops, sorry, we didn't mean to press that button. Remember when that happened? I don't know, a year ago or something? It's been a while now, but there was some emergency services alarm system, like sirens, that went off across the islands. And that was an OG, we hit the wrong button sort of thing, and they apologized for it. And it freaked a bunch of people out, and I think some people even died of heart attacks, if I remember right. I'm not exactly sure on that. But those alarms worked. Why didn't the actual fire alarms work? And again, Anthony Patch really did a great job covering this whole thing in tonight's broadcast. So August the 13th's broadcast on his platform. So if you're on there, feel free to check it out. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely don't miss that one. Because again, he's approaching it as a person who's a volunteer fireman, so he knows what he's talking about. And obviously, he's fully talking about whether he thinks it's a do and stuff like that as well. So I think I won't give away any of the information there, but feel free to check it out. I thought it was good information there. Emily, Doug is a great presenter. I like his work more than a lot of other presenters and YouTubers out there, and he does have a good sense of humor. He seems like a really great guy. Well, I'm not. It's really just an act. I'm not a great guy. Just ask any of my friends. No, wait, I don't have any friends. No, I'm just joking. I do have friends. I have some really, really great friends and longtime friends, and I try to be a great guy, but obviously we all fall short. We all fall short of the glory of God. And I've done that many, 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 many times. But Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it. Yeah, I try and be a upstanding individual, but it's always obviously not that easy sometimes. But we try. We do what we can, right? But yeah, all praise to Jesus. That's really my one fallback, and that's the thing that I try and focus on. Try and focus on His Word and the way Jesus loves us is what I try and do with the people that I know. So, and it's tough. It's not always easy to love people. That is for sure. I'm sure I'm in that same category. I'm probably not easy to love either. Just ask my wife. She can probably tell you that. Tetra uses Start Page for internet searches. Yeah. And now Start Page, I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard Start Page is using Google as a, like underneath. So when you're doing a Start Page search, it might look like Start Page, but it's actually using the Google algorithms, I think. Now, that was the case a while back. I don't know if that's still true, but you might want to look into that. Do a Google search and find out. No, I'm just joking. Let's see. We'll find you even if YouTube takes you down completely, Doug. I'm betting here. I'm just betting here when I speak for others. Well, thank you, Susan. Yeah, I mean, and they might. I'm the only person that I know whose YouTube subscriber list is going backwards. I mean, I'm literally losing subscribers. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I don't think I'm that bad. I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me. Media is fake. That was a good guess. Good guess, Kelly. Media is the virus. Media is the virus. Censored, controlled. Yeah, I mean, how many guesses do we get? Yeah, those were all good guesses. I'm sorry, I'm just now seeing those. But Kathy wins the prize. But she won the prize because she already had the sticker. So yeah, that makes sense. Subway. Yeah, rename your kid Subway. So Verba Homefront, there you go. You got a name for your kid. It's coming. Subway Homefront. Subway Verba Homefront. No, I'm just joking, of course. You can pry my gun from my fat dead hands. That is funny. Yeah, I mean the Chuck Baldwin article. I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't think you're in Tennessee, so that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I mean that's in my neck of the woods, so that's not good. Obesity, fibromyalgia, no guns for overweight people in pain, double strike. What if you fall into multiple categories? They lock you up. Yeah, I mean they're gonna just take your guns. So if you're obese and an insomniac, or what if you're an obese anorexic? Then I mean I don't know what they would do. They would probably just have to come shoot you. So Tennessee may have to choose between Viagra and their guns. Wow. Yeah. Yep. That's true. I hadn't thought about it that way. That's true. Yep. Good point, Kathy. Musk versus Zuck. Fight for real? ? They're giving clones a test run or what? Whole thing is suspicious. Yeah, I know. I think so too, Mushi. I agree. I think so too. Why are they pushing this so much? Because they're really pushing it. I don't know. I do think it would be funny, but I don't know if it'll be real. Maybe it's going to be like, two deep fakes fighting each other or something. Maybe they're working on the production part of it right now as we speak. What do you think? Been seeing billboards promoting electric cars all of a sudden lately, one even in rural areas. Really? Okay. Well, that's not good. But we all know that electric vehicles are total crap and no one wants one because they don't work. And I live in Nashville, which is a fairly affluent area compared to others, I guess you could say. And I'm seeing these ridiculous Teslas everywhere. I can't believe how many people, they're obviously buying the whole Agenda 2030, electric cars are going to save us from gas-powered cars nonsense. So if you're buying a Tetra, I mean, let's say not a Tetra. That's our friend in chat. If you're buying a electric vehicle, no matter the brand, then to me it seems like you probably have also taken the no? I mean, it seems like it. Maybe I'm wrong. But the whole Tesla thing, I mean, I'm seeing them all over town. So I don't know what the deal is. It seems like it went from 0 to 60 as far as, seeing Teslas everywhere. And a few months ago, it didn't seem like hardly anybody had them. So maybe I just wasn't noticing them, but I'm noticing them a lot now. So I think that's bad news. So, but I think that those people they're going to tend to be people that have also taken the So you got a car that's not going to last very long, driven by a person that's not going to last very long. So that's a little bit ironic. Verba Homefront says, when I was updating my license to the DMV, there was a constant stream of pro-EV propaganda on the TV screens there. Yep, I know. Is it me, or is the news tonight just crazier than usual? My head actually hurts, Kathy says. No, I think you're right. It gets crazier. It's like notched up, ratcheted up just a little more every week. Johnny Cash singing the Barbie song was sick. He never would have sang those words. Don't like it at all. Oh, it was like a deep fake, I guess. I didn't know about that. You know, Johnny Cash was notoriously, I'm in the music licensing business. He was notoriously somebody who did not like having his music associated, and rightfully so, with really any brands. And like the one that you hear about in my business, the one I hear about that was to me the funniest one was Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire, right? Remember the song Ring of Fire? Well, they wanted, Preparation H wanted to use Ring of Fire for decades, and he always told them no. So I always thought that was really funny. But that's just one of those examples of, you know, yeah, you could license your song for a certain situation and probably make untold millions, but he valued and loved the song that much that he did not want to subject it to being part of a Preparation H commercial. So therefore, Ring of Fire was never the theme song for Preparation H, like it should be. Right? I'm glad that never happened, because Ring of Fire is a great song. Anyway, yeah. So that's the one story like that I know of. But yeah, that's, you know, with the whole AI thing. I mean, you could end up with that really very, very easily, I would think. Sources of fire remains yet unknown. So weather manipulation is weaponized to make us accept climate change mandates as mass shooters are to grab your guns. Yeah, that sounds about right. Susan says, still keeping Richard in prayers. Thank you. Yeah, I know he appreciates it. Does anyone here have difficulty during September? Difficulty during September, I do. I'm dreading this fall. Well, I mentioned that last week, I think, that I really feel like September every year from here out is going to be a big deal on the world stage. I don't really know why. I just feel like every September will be. And that's in part because I believe September 2028 is when our Lord will return. You guys know what I think about that. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I think we'll just have to stay around as long as we can. What do you guys think? Amazing show, William says. Thank you. Super fun, Doug. Emily says, okay, we'll have to come up with something else fun. Maybe I'll have a different shirt next week. I don't know. Prayers to all of the Diamond Report, William says. Thank you, guys. 365 times in Scripture it says, do not fear. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But yeah. Anyone denying direct energy weapons can stuff it. As weapons specialists in Army, they were working on them way back in the 70s. Mr. Cowboy says, well, welcome, Mr. Cowboy. I'm glad you're here, and I definitely agree with you. I know it's a real thing. I know it's an actual real technology. Why wouldn't it be? They've weaponized absolutely everything. So, yes, best show yet, so appreciate these every week. Well, thank you. Wow, thank you very much. That means a lot to me, because I spend probably, I don't know, at least 0 minutes preparing. So thank you guys for being here. No, I'm just teasing. I do. I probably spend, honestly, for a 2 to 3 hour show, I probably spend about an hour to an hour and a half preparing. And during the week, I'm kind of watching videos, so I know more or less what clips I might want to show. And then sometimes I don't even get to them, which that's totally fine. Like tonight, we watched like maybe 2 videos or 3 videos, and we're not even going to get to them. Well, I'll close with one, I guess, in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where I kind of know what I want to do and more or less thinking about it during the week. So it doesn't really take me all that long, luckily. So thank you guys for sticking in here with me with the length of this show. It's now, what, 1:11? Oh, it's 1:11. 1:11 a.m. here. Yeah, obese anorexic. Yeah, I know. I guess if you're that, though, I mean, they're going to take your guns. Sorry. No, I'm just joking. I don't know any obese anorexics. But that was quite a list on Pastor Chuck's page. I just knew when I saw that they're going to start taking guns away from fat people in Tennessee, I mean, you're basically talking about disarming the entire state. That's what we're looking at. So that's not good news. And you would think Bill Lee would know that, but maybe he doesn't. Yeah, Hamish is here. Hey, welcome there. Glad you made it. Haven't seen you in a while. Let's see. Seen videos here on YouTube. People videotaping their house burning and filming a laser coming down. Really? Okay. Mr. Cowboy says, okay, that's interesting. I would like to see that. Maybe send me a link on that. I would like to see that. It doesn't surprise me. It's very, very possible. They spray us with chemtrails here heavily. It's aluminum oxide and one of the components chemtrails, which is a fire accelerator. Yes, that's exactly right. I was a weapons specialist. I do know they were working on DEWs in the 70s when I was in, Mr. Cowboy says. Really? Okay. Yeah, I know. They've been around a while. I wasn't really sure when. But you know as well as I do that anything that they're talking about publicly that we know about is decades old, really, at this point. So what about the stuff we don't hear about? I mean, that's the part that we don't know. That's the secret tech, right? Secret technology that we don't know about. They scrub the videos that show more truth than the controllers want to reveal. Susan says, yeah, that is true. Kelly said 11/11 in Arizona. Yes, I know. Welcome to 11/11. Yep. It's 11/11 in Vegas. Yep. I know. Well, you guys are here with me, so you have to see it too. Because I see it. I probably see it twice a day sometimes. 2:12 here. Oh, wow, Susan. I'm sorry it's so late. Yeah, it is late. It is late. I need to wrap this up, you guys. I could stay here talking to you guys all night. You guys are a lot of fun. Also on BitChute and Brighteon and ClickView. And I think I've covered the bases here. Here's my mastering company again. Music company. So yeah, that's I've been doing. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you guys. I traded emails with L.A. Marzulli yesterday, and I have cleared with him. We are going to do a not really how-to video. It's going to be a kind of like a podcast for geeks. We'll call it that. Where I'm going to video myself working on LA's new film. He just literally delivered the files to me yesterday. UFO Disclosure number 6. It's going to be about cow mutilations. UFO Disclosure number 6, cow mutilations. I can say that much. So what we're going to do is I'm going to video myself doing the work, at least the screen capture, of working on the film. So mixing and mastering and cleaning up, working on LA's film. Here's the process. I'm going to try and trim it down as much as possible. We're going to take that video, and he's going to put it on his channels, and I'm going to share it as well. So you guys will be able to watch me working on L.A. Marzulli's next film, and I'm happy to say he was all for it. So he wants to do that, so I'm happy to announce that. And that will be in the coming... I'm going to be working on it this week. I don't know how long it'll take me to do the actual final video that I'll be able to deliver to him. So I would say a couple weeks out, more or less. Always fun working with L.A. Marzulli. Love him like a brother. He's awesome. So you guys check out his page and channels if you're not familiar with him. He's like the UFO guy, in my opinion. Forget Stephen Greer. L.A. Marzulli is the guy, and he's the one doing the real research as far as tying what's happening with the UFOs, if there's a fake alien invasion, whatever, tying it back to the Bible, back to biblical soundness. So to me, he's the one that is really putting out the best information on UFOs. And Tim Alberino is doing a great job too. But I don't work with Tim really. I mean, he does his own thing. So anyway, all that said, yeah, good news on hearing from LA in the last day or so. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like him as well. lamarzulli.net if you want to look him up on the web. And you can find him as L.A. Marzulli, I think just that on YouTube. He's still on YouTube. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. And let's see here. We still have quite a few people here watching, so that's great news. Let's watch one more video I've got queued up here. And I'm just going to wrap up the show, I guess, with that. Let's watch... let's see here. How about... Let's close with... we were talking about Big Mike earlier. Let's close with Obama's Creepy Whodunit. So this is Obama's Creepy Whodunit. So that said, hope you guys have a really blessed week. Hope it's a good one. And feel free to stay in touch. Reach out to me if you want. If I can help you guys in any way, let me know. You guys know where the store is. You guys know where the Substack is. And I will send all that stuff out tomorrow. Send all that stuff out tomorrow on Substack. Usually it's been in the evenings lately, so watch for it in the evenings. I don't think it'll be before like 5 my time probably. It'll probably be closer to 5, 6 p.m. my time. That tends to be when it is. And we'll get the final version of the show posted on, Rumble, BitChute, Brighteon, back on Facebook, and then ClickView. So, yeah. So, hope you guys have a great week. I hope it's a blessed one. Thank you guys for being here, hanging out with me tonight. Certainly appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. We had a good discussion, and let's watch Obama's creepy whodunit. Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.